Dear friends, now we are going to discuss about the 10th standard for students about the lesson the impact of British rule in India. Already I have given some information about British East India Company came to India and became successful monopoly over India by the defeated other arrivals of Europeans to India. They introduced divide and rule policy in India and ready to get supremacy over India. After onwards, they have supremacy over India. They have implemented so many reformation in the different fields. So that is the main introduction of that lesson. What they were introduced new system in India in various fields. So that is known as the impact of British rule in India. What were the effects affected in India or introduced by Britishers in India? So this is the main points of this lesson. Now here in that introduction, the Britishers implemented divide and rule policy when they have the supremacy over India and start some wars with the native rulers and got monopoly and also negotiation methods cleverly. So these are the main weapons. These are the main weapons implemented or introduced or struggled by the Britishers in India and got monopoly over India by the exploiting the situation to introduce some policies. See, Britishers in this way they have tried to integrate the whole of India under their administration. They wanted bring our Indian country's administration under their clutches. That means integrated the whole of India under their administration. That is the main aim and theme of the Britishers here. So for that purposes, they have introduced and introduced so many reformation, so many varieties of so many fields here. So which are those? See, in education field and political structure also changed by them. Judicial system also changed. Land system also flexible, and trade and agriculture and various areas of activities were regulated under various law and administrative systems. So these are all the fields of India regulated by Britishers through the introduction of such policies or system in India. So this brought in a new structure to India. So these are all the reformation or implemented of new systems are called the new structure of India. So they brought a new structure of Indian political field and other varieties of fields also. They never forget to protect their financial interest. So they have introduced new system in India, okay, but otherwise never forget their financial achievements, financial interest also never forget by them. And with this, they introduced so many flexible in India. That is called the structure of India become changed in the rule of British. See, what were the main effect introduced by the Britishers, their rule. See, part one, the administrative and judicial system also can be changed by their effort. So these policies are changed by them for favor of them. See, part one, civil service. Before that, there is no civil service examination, civil service appointment. Before the rule of British, but after the rule, the British implemented first one the civil service. See, Lord Cornwallis introduced the administration of civil service. Dear friends, the question may ask in your examination, who introduced the civil service first in India? The Britishers introduced, particularly Lord Cornwallis introduced the civil service in India. The system of appointing employees for the purpose of trade was done by the East India Company from the beginning. So, beginning of the stage, Britishers introduced civil service examination. In that civil service appointment services, the appointing employees in that system, British Lord Cornwallis introduced that civil service appointing here through the civil service examination for the purpose of trade. They are appointing employees for the purpose of trade, which was done by the East India Company from the beginning stage. The beginning stage only for the purpose of trade they have appointed Indians and as well as the Britishers in India. So that is the beginning structure of East India Company, the Lord Cornwallis. See, the company also provided permission for private workers to trade. So, the civil service examination or civil service through the civil service examination appointment done by government and private workers also they have to do the trade. That permission was given by Britishers, not only government. The permission for private workers to trade also given by them during that time. By using these opportunities, employers made money became corrupt through illegal means. See, through the civil service examination, appointed so many people in India and they have given the permission to trade for the private workers also. In that time, see the appointers, those who are appointed, they are called employers. Employers got number of money. Number of corruption and made money became corrupt through illegal means. So those who are employers, they are earned more and more money through the appointment to the others illegal ways or illegal means. So to control this in 1773, the government of England implemented Regulating Act in India. For that purpose, 1773, the Regulating Act was implemented. Why the Regulating Act was implemented? The Regulating Act 1773 was implemented to control the corrupt by the employers to the exploitation of employees to make more money through the illegal means, isn't it? So, for that purpose, the British East India Company introduced the Regulating Act in 1773 to control the made money through the illegal means of corruption by the employers. So, the aim of Regulating Act was, as the name suggested, to enforce control. The regulating means to control anything else. What happened, miss by the East India Company in India. So, Regulating Act was implemented by British East India Company in England to control over the East India Company illegal activities of the employers in India. See, in 1800, Lord Cornwallis opened Fort William College in Calcutta for the benefit of people aspiring to join civil service. See, the civil service examination conducted by British East India Company, okay, but there is no good training for them. That's why the Lord Cornwallis think about it, and also 1800 introduced in the year of 1800 introduced the first college for the getting up training, that is called the Fort William College in Calcutta, for the benefit of the people aspiring to join civil service. Those who are intended to join civil service, for that purpose, the Fort William College at Calcutta introduced by Lord Cornwallis. See, but this initiation did not find support from the directors of the East India Company. But Lord Cornwallis directly think about it and immediately introduced. But the director of East India Company from the British not supported to the Lord Cornwallis, but Lord Cornwallis already introduced the college, Fort William College at Calcutta here. As a result, what is the result of civil service college introduced by Lord Cornwallis? See, the appointments in 1853 were done by the directors. So immediately see the picture of directors. They are discussing about the introduce of the regulating act and miscorrected by the East India Company here. So net Lord Cornwallis power become less, the director power become high or supremacy. So for that purpose, the appointments only done by East India Company employers, but in that time all the appointments till 1853 were done by the directors. Directors only selected the employees or appointed the employees for their work. From 1853 onwards, let's see what is the good structure changed by the directors. So 1853 onwards, the appointment for civil service were done through competitive examination. Before that, there is no competitive examinations. Only appointed those who are interested, and their opinion, on the basis of their opinion, they have appointed to the Indian people for the civil service. Okay. But after the 1853 onwards, the director have given their information or guidelines to appointment select through the civil service examinations. This did not benefit Indians. So this civil service did not benefit for the Indians because Indian people are more illiterate. That's why that is the structure beginning stage East India Company started the civil service examination structure. So this is not support to India because Indian people almost all become illiterate. So they were not participated fully. So the British continued to suspect the efficiency of the Indians. During that time, the Britishers not stopped that civil service examination for the appointment of civil service and tried to invent or suspect the efficiency of the Indians. They knew that all Indians are skilled, but they tried to suspect the efficiency of the Indians. So Lord Cornwallis argued in that time. What argued? See, all the natives of Hindustan are completely corrupted. See, Lord Cornwallis also corrupted man, but he had said that all Indians, all Hindus are become corrupted, told by Lord Cornwallis. It is a very bad thing, bad opinion by the Lord Cornwallis to the Indian people. See, on those days what happened. So, as a result, only lower grade jobs were given to Indians. That time, he quoted that all natives of Hindustan are completely corrupt. That's why they have given only lower grade jobs were given to the Indians. The higher grade job only given to the Britishers. That is the rule of British East India Company in India. So, already over civil service. The first system introduced by the Britishers as the rule of British in India. Then the judicial system also can be changed by them. What is the changes? See, a new judicial system started finding roots when the British rule began taking over the Mughal rule. See, in that time the Mughal rule also changed by the British implementation of the judicial system. What is the judicial system, what was dual governance? See, the Mughal government collected revenue tax and also administration section, both one. But after the introductions of the British rule in India, the dual government introduced. See, after the Battle of Buxar, already we have read it, the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam handed over the Diwani rights. After the Buxar war, Mughal great empire, none other than he was Shah Alam II. Shah Alam, Britishers supported to him, that's why he was ready to give some places and also rights, among them over the Diwani rights. Diwani rights also given by Shah Alam II to the British officers. See, the Diwani rights means given the full rights to collection of the revenue. That is called Diwani rights. The authority to collect land tax to the British. Diwani rights means to has given by the Shah Alam to British to authority to collect the land taxes from the workers or laborers or farmers, only given that opportunity to the Britishers by the Shah Alam. With this dual administration came into effect in Bengal. So the dual government introduced by Lord Wellesley here, that is two government govern the particular place, that is implemented in India. First one, the Bengal provinces, Bengal region, that is implemented according to dual government. The revenue collection by the Britishers, one government. Next one, the authority to collect land taxes, civil and judiciary were given to the Indian officials. So the administration and judicial work and any functions of administration, everything have given to the any king. But the revenue collection given by the any king to the Britishers. So the revenue collector, Britishers, the all administrative, judicial, everything also given to the any officials of Indians, not to the Britishers. So that is the dual government. So whereas the British retained the authority of managing the revenue collection. So they have full power to retain in their hands to collect the revenue from the workers. They become day by day supreme. In that judicial system, the implementation of this system, the British overtook the authority of the Mughal and established their supremacy in India. So Mughal Emperor Shah Alam has given the Diwani rights, but encashed that opportunity by the Britishers, they have overtook the authority of the Mughal Emperor and also established their supremacy in India. So this was attained by implementing new judicial system in India. So this is helpful to Britishers to implement a new judicial system in India. That is the main covering place. According to the administrative plan, divided by Vaughan Hastings. So during that time, Vaughan Hastings came into India as a Governor General of India and has taken administration as Governor General in 1772. So two types of courts are introduced by him. In judicial system changed after the coming to the Vaughan Hastings in India in 1772 as the Governor General of India. So there are two important courts are implemented. See, in each district a Diwani Adalat, that is one court. The second one as a civil court and a Faujdari Adalat as a criminal court. So that is civil court, that is criminal court. These are nowadays also civil and criminal court are there, isn't it? So these are the main foundation by the Britishers till today also continue. Okay. So that is called Diwani Adalat, that is civil court. That is called Faujdari Adalat, that is called criminal court. These are introduced by them. In this civil court, Hindus were dispensed justice as per the Hindu scriptures and the Muslims as per the Sharia. So in that time, the civil and the criminal courts are described or give the judicial or anything systems, any opinion through the in Hindu scriptures they have given judgment, and Muslims they have given through the Sharia system their judges to the people. Slowly the British legal procedures were introduced in the criminal court. Next, as well as how the criminal civil judgment or any legal procedures introduced, like that they were introduced in the criminal courts gradually in India. Civil courts came under the administration of European officials. Civil court fully came into existence as per the decisions of European officers. Through the criminal courts were under the control of Qazis in India. So they were functioning under the supervision of European officers. Both civil and criminal courts are supervised by the Britishers. Okay. So next.